Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Sandra Ferdinando.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara, and here are your headlines for tonight.
The headlines on Newsfirst.
CID deploys 3 teams to probe Negombo prison bloodshed. 75 injured in Negombo prison violence, still hospitalized. Justice Minister vows action to prevent another Negombo prison tragedy. Opposition groups demand Justice Minister's resignation over prison crisis. Indictments filed against Shashendra Rajapaksa and 2 others. Date fixed for Namal Rajapaksa's Krish case hearing. Namal urges Sajith to unite parties over judge retirement age dispute.
Your top story for tonight: 3 teams from the Criminal Investigation Department have been appointed to investigate the clash between groups linked to drug trafficking and organized crime at the Negombo prison.
The CID today reported facts related to the incident before the Negombo Magistrates Court.
A team of officers led by CID Director Shani Sekara arrived at the Negombo prison this morning and commenced investigations before later reporting facts to the Magistrates Court. Our correspondent said the submissions were made inside the Magistrates' chambers. At the request of the CID Director, judges and lawyers who were present at the court at that time were summoned to the Magistrates' chambers while submissions were being made before Negombo Magistrate Shilani Pereira. During the proceedings, the CID informed the court that intelligence reports had indicated a potentially concerning situation regarding security at the court. Considering the situation, the CID requested that only individuals directly connected to cases be permitted access to the court premises. After considering the request, the magistrate instructed the relevant authorities to take the necessary action. The magistrate also directed the CID to submit separate reports regarding each inmate who died in the clash. Meanwhile, the situation at the Negombo prison has been brought completely under control, with the Police Special Task Force and police personnel deployed to maintain external security. More than 700 inmates have been transferred to other prisons in phases. The total inmate population at the prison was close to 2,400. A number of female inmates and other detainees continue to remain at the prison. Relatives who arrived at the Negombo prison today seeking information about their loved ones were seen expressing frustration and concern. Prison authorities later took steps to publish a list containing the names of inmates who had been transferred to other prisons. The clash between 2 gangs linked to drug trafficking and organized crime at the Negombo prison escalated into one of the deadliest prison incidents in recent years, claiming 26 lives. 7 of the deceased were prison officers. The officers who lost their lives were Sergeants R.P.R. Sanjeeva, B.N.N. Tharanga, T.N.R. Tilakasiri, D.W. Pushpakumara, S.D.S. Abhivardhana, A.D. Tharanga and first-class jailer S.H.G. Chandravansa. The number of inmates killed in the clash stands at 19. More than 100 people continue to receive treatment at the National Hospital in Colombo, the Ragama Teaching Hospital and the Negombo District General Hospital. As of this morning, relatives of inmates were still gathered near the Negombo General Hospital, seeking information about family members. Director of the Negombo District General Hospital, Dr. Pushpa Gamlatge, said that 18 critically injured individuals had been transferred to the National Hospital in Colombo for advanced treatment. Post-mortem examinations of those killed in the clash are being carried out today, while relatives have been given an opportunity to identify the bodies. Meanwhile, Minister of Justice Harshan Nanayakara visited the Negombo District General Hospital last afternoon to assess the situation. The inmate, identified as Katuwalle Gamasuresh, who is alleged to have played a key role in the events leading to the clash, has now been transferred to the Bursa prison. Katuwalle Gamasuresh, who is said to be a close associate of organised crime figure Kehel Badra Bhatme, faces allegations including assaults using sharp weapons, robberies, possession of narcotics and drug trafficking. Acting Commissioner General of Prisons Prasad Hemantakumara attended today's cabinet media briefing. He pointed out that the initial unrest had emerged among inmates facing charges related to drug trafficking and organised crime.
These inmates destroyed the prison pharmacy. They used the tablets stored there as narcotic substances and were in a highly agitated state as a result. By Sunday evening, the situation had been brought under control. The inmates had been sent back to their respective wards. Those wards had been secured, food and water had been provided, and all necessary arrangements had been completed. The following morning was Monday, a day on which court proceedings are held. It was also a day when relatives were due to visit inmates. After providing meals, officers entered the premises to begin the day's activities. It has now been revealed that many of these inmates were still in a highly unstable condition after consuming those substances.
If 40 people had died of dengue, their bodies would have to exist. Therefore, that claim is completely false. No such situation has occurred. Any patient requiring treatment receives treatment. The necessary doctors and medical staff are available. There were a few cases of fever reported. In fact, on the previous day, only one such case had been reported. Those individuals were treated accordingly. Therefore, no complaint of that nature had been received.
Prison officers එක්කෙනෙක්වත් මිය ගිහිලා තියෙන්නේ තුවක්කු තුවාල වලින්ද කියලා දැනට තහවුරු වෙලා තියෙනවද?
That can only be determined through the findings of the post-mortem examinations. However, officers witnessed inmates attacking prison personnel in an extremely brutal and inhumane manner. They struck officers on the head and carried out savage assaults. Our officers were subjected to attacks of a nature that is difficult to comprehend.
වීඩියෝ දර්ශනයක් තමයි එක නිලධාරියෙක් දොරෙන් ෂූට් කරනවා වෙඩි තබනවා. හැබැයි අපිට එළියෙන් පේන්නේ එතුමා ෂූට් කරන එක විතරයි. ඇතුලේ මොකද්ද සිද්ධ වුනේ? ඇතුලේ ගිනියාවි තිබ්බද?
Under normal prison procedures, there are two main doors at prison facilities. The first is an iron gate, followed by a wooden door. These inmates had already broken through the iron gate and advanced towards the wooden door. Between the iron gate and the wooden door are valuable security installations, including parcel scanning machines, body scanners and communication systems. Had the inmates breached the wooden door and emerged outside after breaking through the iron gate, I cannot estimate the scale of destruction that could have followed. If they had broken through the final barrier, everything could have been destroyed. They could all have escaped and entered society. The consequences would have been unimaginable. Therefore, if prison officers had not acted as they did at that moment, risking their own lives, this would have become a far greater disaster. The scale of the potential destruction is difficult to assess. Had prison officers not intervened in the manner they did, the outcome would have been much worse than what we witnessed.
තක්සේර කරන්න පුළුවන් තරමේ විනාශයක් නෙමෙයි. ඒ නිසා බන්ධනාගාර නිලධාරීන් ඒ වෙලාවේ මේ විදිහට කටයුතු කරේ නැත්නම් මේක මීට වඩා ලොකු විනාශයක් බවට පත් වෙනවා.
Minister of Justice Harshan Nanayakara briefed Parliament on the incident at the Negombo prison.
Let us look at the background of this clash. I use these words because I have no other way to describe it. Reluctantly, it has to be said that this involved two groups linked to drug and organized crime. The inmates who provided information were the first to come under attack. Therefore, we believe this may have been a conflict linked to drugs and organized crime. By the sharing of information, please remember that all of these matters will ultimately be determined through investigations and the findings of the committees appointed. What I am presenting now is only the information available to me at this moment. One thing that is clear is that after launching the attacks, they destroyed the CCTV cameras. After that, there was a body scanner worth millions. All of that equipment was destroyed. What does this indicate? It appears they engaged in an organized effort to disable the mechanism designed to prevent narcotics and other illegal items from entering the prison. On the 7th, leader of opposition, the first two people to come under attack were two unarmed prison officers. Other officers rushed to rescue them. As a result, a majority of the officers who died were actually killed after being assaulted by inmates. Based on the information available so far, it appears that one or two weapons came into their possession. How did that happen? Were they taken from the armory? Were they snatched from a prison officer? These are matters that can only be determined through investigations. According to the information currently available to us, prison officers used the powers granted to them under the prison ordinance and opened fire in self-defense and in an effort to bring the situation under control. However, did all of these people die as a result of gunfire, or were some killed due to assaults by other inmates? Post-mortem examinations are currently being conducted to establish the exact causes of death. This is an extremely tragic and deeply regrettable incident. Once again, I express my condolences to the affected families. At the same time, I pledge that we will take every necessary step to ensure that such an incident never occurs again. With that commitment, I conclude my remarks.
ඒ පවුල් වලට මගේ ශෝකය පළ කරනවා. ඒ වගේම මේක නැවත නොවෙන්න අවශ්‍ය සියලු පියවර ගන්න කැප වෙනවා කියන පොරොන්දුව දෙමින් මගේ වචන ස්වල්පය අවසන් කරනවා.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa requested an adjournment debate today regarding the Negombo prison incident. Here are some of the opinions expressed during the debate held this evening.
How many prisons have you visited for inspection? Valikada, Colombo Remand Prison, New Magazine Remand, Mahara, Bogambara, Jaffna, Anuradhapura, Badulla, Batiklo, Gaul, Matra, Angunukula Palace, Negombo, Trincomalee, Kalutara, Kuruvita, Polunarwa, Monaragala, Warriapula, Vaunia and so on. How many have you visited? How many did you go to and investigate? Did you look into the issue they face? Especially when you tell us to conduct disciplinary inquiries regarding members of our party, have you done your own job properly?
The former commissioner was dismissed, remanded and imprisoned. After that, the Human Rights Commission issued a recommendation to reinstate him. However, putting aside the issue of whether you reinstate him, which may be your political choice, you have failed to take steps to appoint a properly qualified commissioner. Ultimately, this has reached a boiling point. How does the government plan to face this? The minister claims he did not see it on social media. That is a joke. After failing to act responsibly and neglecting his duties, he is now trying to wash his hands of the matter.
The Sataka-wearing gentleman also came. It is very sad to listen to his statement. He says one thing and points the finger at the Minister of Justice, claiming he did not intervene properly. While I was on my way there, I told him, our Minister of Justice cannot govern the way you all governed. How did they govern? There was an incident at the Tangol prison. Mahinda Rajapaksa went to the scene of the incident. Who caused the incident? Julam Pitya Amare. Mahinda told Amare from the outside, Amare, I am Mahinda. I have come here with John Amaratunga, so please stop this. And just like that, the Tangol prison riot ended. Our Minister of Justice does not go there to command things like that. That is their history. Do you understand? Beliate Chandimali, D.V. Upul threatened the police and asked people to throw stones. That is how they maintained thugs back then. And then Chokamali. Those are the kind of thugs they had.
People who have cases filed against them are saying that this government must be defeated by joining forces with thieves, scoundrels and racists. We believe that what we saw emerging from the Negombo prison is a prison front. The political front is here. There are some inside here and there are some others outside. That is the political front. Based on my knowledge, I am saying these things subject to the investigations that are currently underway. If inmates were not properly controlled, the easiest time for a riot would be at night, when security is harder to maintain. Yet they did not revolt at night. The trouble only surfaced in the morning. While the issue is not 100% resolved, and controlling 2,000 inmates at once is a major challenge, we cannot overlook these signs. We must use the commission and judicial channels to investigate whether this was part of a specific plan.
Escalation of conflict between organized criminal gangs was the reason for the clash at the Negombo prison. That is the government's explanation. But what is the opposition saying about this incident?
Several groups that identify as groups affiliated to the opposition held a press conference today and said that the Ministry of Justice must take responsibility and resign. However, during this press conference, journalists questioned these opposition groups on how they acted when such situations arose in the past.
The group that joined the press conference organized by the People's United Opposition led by Professor G.L. Pibris includes Dayasiri Jayasekara, who entered parliament on the Samagi Janapadavege ticket, Thalathathu Korala from the United National Party and Suren Raghavan from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
The Minister of Justice says he takes responsibility. Taking responsibility means he must definitely resign from that position. If we look at the precedents in our country, there was such an incident during the time of Nisanka Vijayaratne when he was the Minister of Justice. He was ill and staying in a hospital in England. He resigned, not just from a part of the ministry, but from the entire Ministry of Justice. First, let me say this. The basic promise given to the people was system change. They said, the curse of 76 years, give us the vote and we will change this from top to bottom.
I am trying to give an answer to that. We did not work properly during our tenures. These questions about who resigned during our tenure is irrelevant because these people did not come into power to do that. No, that is relevant because Nisanka Vijayaratne was not even in the country. There was nothing he could have done. However, here, the current Minister of Justice was involved in a discussion regarding the extension of the Chief Justice's tenure. So, what is the priority here? The friendship between Lohan Ratwatte, who was in that government, and the most powerful state leader, Mahinda Rajapaksa, is known to the whole world. But he said it was a mistake and asked him to step down. I said it very clearly that if people wanted things to be done like that, they should have kept the government. They removed that government and brought a new government to do something different.
ඊයේදී ඇමතුම වක්කීම් බාරගත්තා. දැන් 2012 දී කවුරුත් කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ මේ වෙලාවේ. මේ මාධ්‍යරත් ආවේ නැහැ නේ ඔබතුමාලගේ පාලන කාලෙන් තිබුණේ. වාස්තු ප්‍රහාර සිද්ධ වෙලා. අරගලේ සිද්ධ වෙලා. ජීවිත විනාශන මරණ 200ක් කරන වාස්තු ප්‍රහාර වෙලා. 500 තුවාල අදලා දෙන්න සුවිදවල. ගෙවල 800 මහරක් ගිනි තිබ්බා. කවුද වක්කීම් බාරගත්තේ? දැන් මේකයි. දැන් ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න 2013 සිද්ධිය.
Now this is the thing. Look, it is because they did not accept responsibility back then that those governments were driven out. Now these people have accepted responsibility. He said, I take full responsibility. That is good. That is good.
Namal Rajapaksa launched a new opposition organization under his leadership. The opposition grouping, named A-Team Next Wave, includes Rohita Begunawardena, D.V. Chanaka, Anuradha Jayaratne and Chanaka Madhugoda. Speaking at a media briefing held today, members of the opposition group said the government must accept responsibility for the incident at the Negombo prison.
ඒ වගේම බන්ධනාගාරවල විවිධ ප්‍රශ්න ඇති වුණා ලෝහාන් මහත්මයාගේ කාලේ ගෝඨාභය මහත්මයාගේ කාලේ විවිධ ප්‍රශ්න ඇති වුණා. හැබැයි ඇමතිවරු ඉල්ලා අස්සලා වගකීම බාරගත්තේ නැහැ කියලා චෝදනාව බරපතල චෝදනාවක්. දැන් ඒ බරපතල චෝදනාව නගපු මහත්මයා දැන් ජනාධිපති වෙලා ඉන්නවා. දැන් එතුමාට පුළුවන් එතුමාගේ චෝදනා අපිට එල්ල කරපු චෝදනා වලට ක්‍රියාවෙන් ඔප්පු කරලා පෙන්නන්න. එතකොට ජනතාව එතුමාට පිළිගන්නවා.
The Samagi Janabalawegya Chief Executive MP Ajit P. Pereira held a media briefing and called for the resignation of the Minister of Justice. Responding to questions raised by journalists, the MP said the following.
As the Samagi Janabalawegya, we say that Prisons and Justice Minister Harshana Nanayakara must resign immediately. He should step down, appoint a responsible person to the position, and only then should investigations be conducted. If that is true, by 1 p.m. on Sunday, the injured had already been hospitalized following the clash. Until yesterday morning, both groups were still being brought together even for breakfast. There is responsibility for creating the dangerous environment that led to this situation. Didn't anyone see the serious danger?
දැන් ඒකද ප්‍රශ්නේ? දැන් අපිට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ ඒකද? ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් ඊයේ උදේ වෙනකන් මේ ඇමති හර්ෂණ නානායක්කාර මොකද්ද ගත ක්‍රියාමාර්ගය? කරුණාකරලා කියන්න. පාස්කු විරුද්ධ ත්‍රස්ත ප්‍රහාරයේ මේකයි දෙකක්. පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයට සමාන කරන්න බැහැ. එතන ජීවිත 278 ඔක්කොම ජීවිත. දැන් මේ ආණ්ඩුව පත් කරේව නිවැරදි කරන්න. දැන් ඔබතුමාලා මහ බැංකුව බඳුන් කර සිද්ධියේ සේවකත්ව සාධන මුදලින් බිලියන 8.0 ගාණක් ගැව්වා. අන්තිමට මේ පෞද්ගලික අංශික සේවකයන් ජීවත් වෙන්න තියෙන්නේ මරණ අන්තිම මොහොතේ තියෙන ඒ සල්ලිය. ඔබතුමාලා ෆුට්නෝට් දැම්මා. කවුරු වගකීම් බාරගෙන ඉවත් වුණා. කොහොම නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කළාද ඔබතුමාලා අදාළ පාස්වර්ඩ් රටට ගෙනල්ලා ඔබතුමාලා බලේ මෙච්චර කාලයක් හිටියේ. දැන් මේක පාතාල කණ්ඩායම. අනිත් එක ඔබතුමා පුන මාධ්‍යවේදීන්ව ප්‍රශ්න කළා ඔබතුමාලගේ පක්ෂේ පාතාල ක්‍රියාකාරීන් ඉන්නවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඒකටද? දැන් අන්න නඩු කීපයක් යනවා කලිත අපේසින් හිට කොරස් ආසන සංවිධායකතුමා. ඔබතුමාලා කියන දැන් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මොකක්ද කරන්න මම අද සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේ.
Today, I am discussing a specific issue. I can debate those matters with you separately. You appear to have a political objective rather than a genuine interest in finding the truth or ensuring accountability. I am speaking about the incident at the Negombo prison.
බන්ධනාගාරයේ සිදුවුණු සිදුවීම ගැන. පාස්කු ප්‍රශ්නේ වෙනම ගන්න. ඒ ගැන නඩුව අහනවා ඒක කියලා පරීක්ෂණ කරනවා. පාස්කු ප්‍රශ්නේ මේක එකක්ද? ඔව් මේකේ නඩුව දැන් අහනවා. ඒතර අදාළ කර්මකරුවෝ දඬුවම් දෙයි. අනිත් කාරණේ. දැන් දේශපාලන වගකීම නැද්ද? නෑ ඔබතුමා දේශපාලන වගකීම නැද්ද? නෑ මෙතුමා මාධ්‍යවේදී. මම මාධ්‍යවේදීද නැද්ද කියලා රජයේ ප්‍රවෘත්ති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව. රජයේ මාධ්‍යවේදී කා. ඒතර මන්ත්‍රීතුමා නෑ මම ඔබතුමා නෑ මෙහෙමයි. රජයේ මාධ්‍යවේදී කැටියට ඔබතුමාට අද කරලා දෙන වගකීම ඔබතුමා ඉස්සර කරා. හරි මෙහෙමයි. මම ස්වාධීන මාධ්‍යවේදී. මම දන්නේ ඔබතුමා මොන මාධ්‍යවේදීද කියලා මම දන්නේ නෑ. හැබැයි එක දෙයක් කියන්න කැමතියි. ඔබතුමා මේ වෙලාවේ කතා කරන්න ඕනේ මේ වෙච්ච මහා අපරාධ ගැන. හරි. ඒකට ඔබතුමා මේ හරි දැන් මේ වෙච්ච සිදුවීම පරීක්ෂා කරන්න ඕනේ නේද? මේ වෙච්ච සිදුවීම පරීක්ෂා කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකත් කරන්න ඕනේ. මම ඒක නෑ කියන්නේ නෑ. හැබැයි පාස්කු විතර දැන් අද අපේ පොලිස් එක මාධ්‍ය හමුවේ ඔබතුමාලා ඇවිල්ලා hina වෙනවා. දැන් ඇවිල්ලා අයි පාස්කු ප්‍රාර
State Minister Shashendra Rajapaksa and two others who were accused for today and served indictments before the Colombo High Court over charges filed under the Anti-Corruption Act.
The indictments were served on former State Minister Shashendra Rajapaksa, former Acting Director General of the Office for Reparations Sepalika Saman Kumari and Kirti Bandara Kotagama. According to the charges, during the period between the 27th of November 2023 and the 29th of May 2024, the accused had allegedly exerted influence on officials of the Office for Reparations to secure compensation for the destruction of a building and another property that had been unlawfully constructed on land belonging to the Mahaweli Authority of Sri Lanka in Sevanagala. The building and the other property were destroyed during the period of the Aragalaya protests. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption filed indictments before the High Court on the 19th of June, alleging that the accused had committed offences under the Anti-Corruption Act by obtaining compensation amounting to 8.85 million rupees for the property in question. The case was taken up today before Colombo High Court Judge Ravindra Premaratna. After the indictments were served, the judge ordered that the accused be released on two surety bails of 10 million rupees each. The pre-trial conference of the case has been scheduled for the 5th of August. A case filed against parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa over the controversial Krish transaction involving an alleged irregular deal worth 70 million rupees was fixed for trial on the 16th of November by the Colombo High Court. The case was taken up before Colombo High Court Judge Nadi Aparna Suwandurugoda. The judge today ordered that summons be issued to 2 Indian national witnesses in accordance with the Judicial Service Commission's procedure for serving summons on foreign witnesses. The judge further directed that the summons be forwarded in English to the addresses stated in the passports of the 2 witnesses. In order to review the progress of serving summons on the foreign-based witnesses, the judge fixed the case for further mention at 2:30 p.m. on the 22nd of September. Thereafter, the 16th of November was fixed as the date for the commencement of the trial. The Attorney General filed indictments before the Colombo High Court on the 5th of February last year, accusing the defendant of criminal breach of trust by allegedly obtaining 70 million rupees from India's Krish company on the pretext of promoting rugby. Namal Rajapaksa is currently out on bail in connection with the case. Meanwhile, parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa, who appeared before court today in relation to the ongoing case, has written to opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, highlighting what he described as the need for all democratic forces to unite against attempts to undermine the rule of law by extending the tenure of senior court judges. In the letter, Rajapaksa stated that he believes the government is currently attempting to extend the retirement age of Supreme Court judges without any acceptable or justifiable reason. He further noted that such a move could have serious implications for the rule of law and appears capable of adversely affecting the country's democratic process. Rajapaksa also urged the opposition leader to convene a discussion involving all political parties that value democratic principles to address what he described as a serious and pressing issue. His letter further stated that it would be appropriate to invite the leaders of all political parties that have been represented in Parliament, along with other political leaders deemed suitable, to participate in such discussions.
The extension of the retirement age for judges was raised during the Cabinet media briefing. The response from the Cabinet spokesman was as follows.
Yes, this is a matter on which requests have been received from several sectors. For example, when we consider the current number of prison officers available and the challenges involved in attracting new recruits, there are a number of sectors facing similar concerns. As a result, proposals have been received from various sectors seeking an increase in the existing retirement age. It was on that basis that the retirement age of specialist doctors, medical officers and dental surgeons was increased. In addition, similar proposals have been submitted by several other professional sectors, including the judiciary, the prison service and universities, and these matters are currently being discussed. However, the government has not yet reached a final decision on the matter.
Weather first.
The Met Department issued an advisory warning of strong winds and rough sea conditions affecting several parts of the country.
Viara Virakon has more details on the weather.
Yes, thank you, Naveksha and Sandaru. Now, according to the latest update from the Department of Meteorology, wind speeds in the sea areas of the coast from Kankasanthure to Mana and extending to Putlam, as well as from Hambantota to Putlam, can increase to between 55 and 60 kilometers per hour. The department has also issued a separate advisory regarding strong winds prevailing across the island. The advisory states that due to the active southwest monsoon conditions currently affecting Sri Lanka, strong winds with speeds of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the central, Sabaragamuwa, northern, north central, northwestern provinces, as well as in the districts of Hambantota and Trincomalee. Now, authorities have urged the public, particularly fishing and maritime communities, to remain vigilant and exercise caution as adverse weather conditions are expected to continue in these affected areas.
Weather first.
Meanwhile, the number of dengue cases reported in the country has exceeded 62,000, and accordingly, the total number of dengue cases reported in the country so far this year is 62,422. The National Dengue Control Unit stated that 39 dengue deaths have been reported thus far.
The University of Moratuwa has been temporarily closed down due to a large number of students contracting dengue. Deputy Minister of Education and Higher Education, Madhura Seniviratna, said that this decision was taken yesterday following discussions with health officials.
We know that the highest number of cases is currently being reported from the Western Province. Because of this, we identified these as high-risk areas. We selected 22 MOH divisions, 9 from Colombo, 8 from Gampaha and 5 from Kaluthara, and launched a special dengue control campaign involving all stakeholders and the general public.
The Stop Dengue Now nationwide dengue eradication program, launched by the Maharaja Media Network, led by Newsfirst in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Mass Media, is being carried out for the second consecutive day today. The program is focused on the Colombo, Gampaha and Kaluthara districts, with public awareness activities being conducted to reduce the risk of dengue spread. Today, programs to raise public awareness about dengue control in the Colombo district were carried out, covering the Maharagama MOH division. Another phase of the Stop Dengue Now National Dengue Control Campaign was held today in Vavita, Bandaragama within the Kaluthara district. In the Gampaha district, awareness programs were conducted today around the Kalagidihena area.
The National Credit Guarantee Institution Limited commenced operations today at a new location with a refreshed identity.
The National Credit Guarantee Institution Limited officially opened its new office premises today, further expanding its operations. The inauguration was attended by Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development, Chatrangabe Singha, Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, representative of ADB Manohari Gunawardena, and several others.
This institution, through young in years, only 1 year, has already proven itself to be a cornerstone in strengthening Sri Lanka's financial ecosystem and empowering our MSMEs, SMEs, those are the backbone of our economy. Since commencing operations in January 2025, so far NCGIL has built a strong capital base of LKR 16.7 billion, and that's a good capital base to start with. As I said already, is 90% of the government holding plus shareholder panel institutions, 10%. In just over a year, it has issued over 2,000 guarantees, covering loans with approximately LKR 15 billion. These guarantees have not only expanded access to finance, but have also prioritized women-owned businesses, export-oriented ventures, and environmental-friendly enterprises. This is a clear demonstration of this institution's commitment to inclusive and sustainable.
Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development, Chatrangabe Singha, highlighted that many entrepreneurs would not have had access to such financing opportunities without the support of the institution.
So in Sri Lankan SME ecosystem, we have multiple issues that we need to fix. So this was identified by the government even before the election, that we had a very strong view how financial inclusion and the SME sector growth can resolve our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is poverty. The only way that we can resolve is through entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship at the lowest level. So our market still, only SME sector contributes about 53%. We are proud of it, but that's not the goal of the government. The goal of the government is to ensure that 80% of our market is handled by SME sector. I think apart from that, the ecosystem for SMEs in finance, we need 3 or 4 fixes. One is a development bank. The government is working very hard on that. And I'm very hopeful by next year we will get a proper proposal working, like the efforts that was put to Credit Guarantee Institution with the ADB and the Ministry of Finance, and the central bank support with the banking sector.
A symbolic milestone was also marked with the presentation of the 2000th loan facility under the collateral-free lending scheme.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka and the Colombo Stock Exchange launched the SME Creditworthiness Rating Framework and SME Connect Awards to drive economic growth by strengthening the small and medium enterprise sector. The launch took place yesterday in Colombo.
CA Sri Lanka, together with the Colombo Stock Exchange, officially launched its SME Connect program yesterday with the goal of strengthening the small and medium enterprise sector and contributing to the country's economic development. The event also featured the formal unveiling of an SME Creditworthiness Rating Framework, the SME Connect Awards and the Entrepreneur magazine.
I believe it's prudent to introduce a tax rate for the SME sector based on a criteria. Below 20 million micro, one can be taken as one slab, then 20 to 300 million, small size entities, 300 million to 1 billion, mid size entities over 1 billion. Right? So whatever the reduced tax revenue can be enhanced with proper tax declarations, income declarations with the proper audited accounts. The balance they'll be able to, the revenue authorities will be able to catch up, and this will bring down the tax burden to a certain extent on all of us. This is something to think of.
The evening concluded with a press conference and a detailed presentation on future workshops designed to help SMEs improve their financial discipline, governance and access to capital, as well as a Q&A session.
International consultancy firm Baker & York launched its regional hub in Colombo, marking a significant expansion for the Australian headquartered group.
Baker & York, an international business group headquartered in Australia, has expanded its operations in Sri Lanka. The new Colombo office will serve as the regional hub for Baker & York's international public policy advisory consultancy, which works across the Asia-Pacific region. CEO Dr. Erin Watson hosted the proceedings detailing the firm's dual mission, serving as a regional centre for public policy advisory across Asia-Pacific and launching By Partners, a service designed to help Australian firms tap into Sri Lanka's highly skilled workforce through employer of record solutions.
We know that people want to, we need to have money here, we need to have taxes here, and so many people like Sabina who is now working for us is not even coming back to Sri Lanka after being educated and living overseas. So being able to provide that sort of employment here is something I'm really passionate about. And like I said, it's the best.
The launch was attended by Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Chaturanga Abesinghe and Member of Parliament Dr. Harsha De Silva, along with several other guests.
The Semaul Foundation inaugurated its 11th Smart Classroom in Bulatko, a move to enhance digital education in Sri Lanka.
The Sri Lanka office of the Semaul Foundation, a South Korean non-profit organization, inaugurated its 11th Smart Classroom at the Kanangamu Rajasinghe Mahavidyalaya in Bulatko today. The project, valued at approximately 6.2 million rupees and funded by the Semaul Foundation of the Republic of Korea, aims to enhance IT infrastructure in rural schools. The upgraded facility includes 18 desktop computers, a 75-inch interactive smart board, and a fully renovated computer laboratory. Chief Secretary of the Sabaragamu Provincial Council, Upali Jayasekara, served as the chief guest of the inauguration ceremony, together with the country director of Semaul Foundation Sri Lanka office, Cho Jung Yong, Divisional Secretary of Bulatko, officials from the Zonal Education Office, the principal of Kanangamu Rajasinghe Mahavidyalaya, as well as other representatives of the Semaul Foundation.
We are now living in a digital era. Computer literacy and digital skills are no longer optional. They are essential. We hope that every student who studies in this classroom will gain the confidence and skills needed to succeed in higher education and future careers. The knowledge and skills you gain here will help shape your future and contribute to the development of Sri Lanka. I hope this smart classroom will become a place where students dream bigger, learn better, and build a bright future. The Semaul Foundation will continue to strengthen its partnership with Sri Lanka and support initiatives that empower community thought, education and development.
Launched in 2022, the Digital Semaul initiative is part of a broader collaboration with the Ministry of Education and provincial government bodies to integrate modern IT resources into the national school system. The foundation stated that the classroom is now fully operational for student use.
A growing war of words between Washington and Tehran has highlighted the fragile state of US-Iran relations as President Donald Trump doubled down on his hardline stance against Iran's nuclear ambitions, while Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warned that meaningful negotiations cannot proceed under continued threats.
Let's hear more details from Metra Abekun.
Thank you, Sandru and Naveksha. Now, US President Donald Trump has defended his administration's approach toward Iran, claiming the country's military capabilities had been severely weakened and reiterating that Tehran would never be allowed to acquire a nuclear weapon. Speaking to reporters, Trump said the United States had achieved significant success in its dealings with Iran, although he argued that those efforts had not received sufficient media coverage.
Look, we're going to win one way or the other. We're either going to make a deal or we're going to finish the job, okay? And it won't be tough to finish the job. I'd rather make a deal because I don't want to affect 91 million people. We can knock down their bridges in 1 hour. We can knock out their energy supply, all of those big plants that they built, big, beautiful, modern plants. They had a lot of money. They don't have any money now. We haven't given them any money. But we can knock out their electricity and power generating plants in, I would say, a small part of an afternoon. Every plant will be gone. And they know that. They know that.
However, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi today said negotiations with the United States on a final agreement would not begin if threats against Iran continued, stressing that the position was clearly outlined in the Tehran-Washington Memorandum of Understanding. He wrote in a post on X, quote, Para 13 of the MOU is clear. Negotiations on final deal will not commence if threats continue. End quote.
Tuesday's ceremonies for Iran's assassinated Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei are taking place in the sacred Iranian city of Qom. Khamenei's son and successor Mojtaba Khamenei has yet to appear publicly since his father's killing.
Qom is widely considered the second most sacred city in Iran and home to the Qom Seminary, Iran's preeminent institution for Shiite scholarship. The city is also the site of the Fatima Masumeh Holy Shrine, an important pilgrimage destination for Muslims to honor the sister of Ali al-Rida, a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad and the 8th Imam of the 12 Shiites. Khamenei undertook advanced religious studies at the seminary in Qom, including under his predecessor Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. The city is also a key industrial and petrochemical hub and has been targeted by US-Israeli strikes throughout the war. The holy city is also near the secretive, heavily guarded Fordo nuclear site, which was bombed by the US in June 2025. Prayers for Khamenei will be held at the Jamkaran Mosque, a significant religious site on the outskirts of Qom. On Wednesday, Khamenei's body will be transported to the Iraqi city of Najaf, then on to Karbala, before he is buried in his hometown of Mashhad on Thursday. Meanwhile, Iran's former president has appeared at the funeral of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, despite having been reported killed at the start of the war. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was one of the millions of mourners who poured into Tehran dressed in black on Monday to escort the slain Supreme Leader's coffin through the capital. The former hardline president, who governed from 2005 to 2013, was declared dead by several Iranian state-affiliated media outlets on the opening day of the war, when Israeli and US strikes killed Khamenei and much of the country's leadership. It was thought he had been killed when a missile struck near his home. He was never seen or heard from in the months that followed, and no official confirmation or denial of his fate was issued, leaving his status among the many uncertainties of the war's chaotic first days.
A French Court of Appeal has upheld Marine Le Pen's conviction for embezzling European Parliament funds but shortened her ban on running for elected office, potentially reopening a narrow path for the far-right leader to run in the 2027 presidential race. However, the court also handed Le Pen a 3-year jail term, with 2 years suspended and 1 year in which she must wear an electronic ankle tag for monitoring. Now, this could make a presidential campaign politically and logistically difficult.
Marine Le Pen, who heads the anti-immigration National Rally Party, has previously suggested she would not run if she were handed an adjusted custodial sentence in which her movements were restricted or she had to wear an electronic tag. Her position was not immediately clear after the verdict. A different judge will consider at a later date the exact workings of any electronic tag or monitoring for Le Pen. The Paris court decided that Le Pen 57 had played a central role in orchestrating a fake job scam of unprecedented size and duration to embezzle European Parliament funds and funnel the money to paying her party in Paris between 2004 and 2016. Le Pen, whose period of ineligibility to run for public office was shortened to 15 months, with the remaining 30 months suspended, was also given a £100,000 fine. Jordan Bardella, 30, who as party president already handles the day-to-day running of the RN, had been on standby as a potential replacement presidential candidate if Le Pen was unable to run.
Tears, triumph and unforgettable moments defined another dramatic chapter of the 2026 FIFA World Cup as round of 16 took center stage. Cristiano Ronaldo's historic World Cup career came to a heartbreaking end after Portugal's narrow defeat to Spain, while Belgium crushed the hopes of host nation USA.
Veera Cohen is ready to bring us more.
Yes, the drama of the 2026 FIFA World Cup round of 16 continued today with two blockbuster knockout clashes that delivered heartbreak, heroics and a place in the quarter-finals. Now the results brought an end to the World Cup dreams of Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal and tournament co-hosts the United States. One of the most emotional matches of the tournament unfolded between Portugal and Spain. A dramatic late winner sealed a 1-0 victory for Spain, looking La Roja's place in the FIFA World Cup quarter-finals, while bringing Portugal's World Cup campaign to a heartbreaking end. Now, ahead of the match, 41-year-old Portuguese superstar Cristiano Ronaldo revealed that this would likely be the final World Cup of his illustrious career. As the clash against Spain is expected to go down in history as Ronaldo's While in Seattle, Belgium produced a commanding performance to defeat co-hosts the United States 4-1 in another round of 16 encounter. The result means that all three host nations participating in the tournament have now been eliminated from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, prior to the match, the inclusion of the American forward Farin Balogun drew considerable attention from football analysts. Balogun had received a red card during the United States round of 32 match against Bosnia and Herzegovina, which under FIFA regulations would normally result in a suspension for the following match. However, Balogun was named in the squad against Belgium. Foreign media reports claim that FIFA had overturned the red card following a request made by US President Donald Trump. The controversy sparked reaction on social media, with the official X account affiliated with the Belgian Football Association appearing to take a light-hearted swipe at the situation. Now, the post featured Belgium scoring a goal alongside a humorous message directed at the US president suggesting he, quote-unquote, overturned this. As we mentioned yesterday, the fate of defending world champions Argentina will be decided today. That will depend on the outcome of their round of 16 showdown against Egypt tonight. Now, the final round of 16 fixture will see Switzerland take on Colombia in the early hours of tomorrow morning. Now, we will continue to bring you all the latest action, results and analysis from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The licensed rights holders for the tournament in Sri Lanka are held by the Maharaja Media Network. Now, all matches can be watched live on Sirasa TV and TV1.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.